James Merrick. Once upon a time, there were two young men that God put together. This is a part of their story. I first met Pastor Merrick in 1972. This is also the story of the Apostolic Gospel Church in Duluth, which was established in the 1920s. Reverend Merrick became pastor in 1969. He was a new young pastor with a big dream for a small church. Things were about to change in Duluth. This is a newspaper article from the summer of 1972. He'd been there for about 3 years. The author of the newspaper article almost prophetically labeled it an open door. Revelation 3:8 says, "Behold, I set before thee an open door, and no man can shut it." This is the article. The Way House, an open door. Let's delve a little deeper. It's also the story of a group of young people in Duluth, Minnesota, who were actively involved with the Way House. This is also their story. Here's some excerpts from that June 11th, 1972 article. Rick Sheffick was the author. It begins, when the Way House at 326 East First Street opened for the first time 3 weeks ago, this sign was placed in the window. Hey, tonight, the Way House is opening its doors for the first time ever. So let's get up there. We can make this a big thing. The Way House is set up by a bunch of far out kids who just want to get together, make friends, and have some heavy rap. Oh, that really sounds like the 1970s. These young kids were all members of the Apostolic Gospel Church in Duluth, but they disliked being associated with one group or another. We've tried to keep ourselves from getting affiliated with anything except our church, said Mel Berglund. Oh, and that's me. The article goes on. A young man named Joel speaks. It says, he came a little further to become involved with the project. He mentions that people from the church have been thinking about this for a long time, but I just joined the church about 6 weeks ago. I was an atheist until then. The church helped them find the former grocery store in which the coffee house is now located, paid for the first month's rent, but the operators are on their own now. There are about 12 people active in the operation of the coffee house, and on a usual night, 5 or 6 of them will be present to talk to people who come in. Mel said that their approach to people who walk in depends on how old they are. Younger people come in 2s or 3s. We ask them if they want something to drink, soft, of course, and then we talk to them. Here's the whole purpose. So, if you need a friend, they are open every Friday and Saturday night from 7 p.m. until midnight. But then the article goes on to say how that we started out with Fridays and Saturday nights, but we were doing so good we figured we'd add on 2 more days. We are now open Monday and Wednesday nights in addition to Friday and Saturday nights, 7 to midnight. Going back to Joel's comments, people from the church have been thinking about this for a long time, but something had to happen. A pastor, 12 young people with a clear vision. An open door, the Way House. 1973, 1 year later, the church purchased a house for the growing group of young members. Many were coming in off the streets. They needed to change their housing situation. 1975, 2 years later, and two additions to the existing building had been complete. In 1980 through 1982, land was purchased and construction began on a new facility. 1984, the Apostolic Gospel Church and Brother Merrick was back in the news. It was time for a church dedication. December 7th, 1984. The article reads like this. The dedication at 2 p.m. today of the new sanctuary of Duluth Apostolic Gospel Church at 3808 Haynes Road attests to the dramatic resurgence of fundamentalist religion. Interesting way to put that. Brother Merrick says much of the labor was donated. Without that, he says, the congregation would have cost, or the construction would have cost a great deal more than the $350,000 he estimates to have spent thus far. Of colonial design, the main structure is 68 feet wide, 128 feet long, and it stands on 9.5 acres, landscaped with ample parking. The article then concludes Merrick has been the local pastor since 1969. He attributes the church's growth to people looking today for something that is real, that is absolute, and the Bible is filled with absolutes. Continuing the news article, the new church building, which can seat about 700 people, became necessary because there was no more room to expand at the former location on Nanacoke Street, as Merrick says. He pressed on with his work to the best of his abilities to see the new church completed. Last week's attendance in 1984, 374 people. God has been good to me, he said. And the vision was not just for the city of Duluth. The pastor's vision was for the region, and it resulted in new church plants. International Falls, Virginia, Minnesota, Hibbing, Grand Rapids, Cloquet, Moose Lake. Joshua 14:10 reads like this. Now look, Caleb said to Joshua, it's been 45 years since the Lord said to Moses, as Israel was going through the desert, that I and my children would receive the land I walked over. Now then, give us this mountain. Brother Merrick's gone, but the message to the next generation, continue the legacy. Take the land, for you are well able.